Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are breaking down a really incredible real-world 14 challenge test between two absolute titans of the smartphone world, the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra and the iPhone 17 Pro Max. We aren't just looking at spec sheets here, we're looking at how these devices actually perform in daily life to see which one truly fits your lifestyle. All right, let's dive right into the fight card. We're looking at 6 everyday categories: security and scanning, productivity and files, AI and social, cameras and video, fast charging, and finally, the verdict. We're going to track the entire life cycle of your day, starting right from the morning unlock. So, Section 1, Security and Scanning, Unlocking and Privacy. This round kicks off with exactly how quickly and safely you can access your device, protect your data, and even grab your money when you're standing in a busy checkout line. You know, there is a totally distinct philosophical difference in how these companies approach just getting into your phone. Apple's Face ID, it offers this beautifully seamless, instant, hands-free unlock. You just look at it and boom, you're in. Samsung's ultrasonic fingerprint scan, on the other hand, actually requires a physical touch. But here's the thing. In real-world testing, especially when you're scanning a true money payment code at the register, that physical scan actually felt incredibly reliable and just a fraction of a second faster. It really comes down to a trade-off between hands-free convenience and tactile speed. But when it comes to keeping your information safe from prying eyes, Samsung really steps up. They absolutely take the point here with a built-in privacy display. With literally just the touch of a button, you can obscure side angles, making your screen look completely pitch black to anyone sitting next to you. To match that level of on-demand privacy, an iPhone user would have to actually go out, buy a physical privacy screen protector, and stick it to their display. Crazy, right? Moving on to Section 2, Productivity and File Sharing, Getting Things Done. Let's see how these phones actually fit into your daily workflow, how you multitask, and how you share files with your friends. When it comes to making new connections, Apple just absolutely dominates the contact sharing game. Picture this. You're at a networking event, you bring 2 iPhones together, and it triggers that beautifully animated instant name drop feature. It is like modern magic. Samsung users, unfortunately, are left navigating a pretty clunky process. You've got to open your profile, generate a QR code, have the other person open their camera, scan it, accept the prompt. Yeah, it's a 5 to 6 step manual process that just doesn't feel anywhere near as futuristic. However, Samsung strikes back incredibly hard when it comes to heavy productivity. Imagine needing to read detailed camera specs from a website while simultaneously typing them into a document. Samsung lets you easily split your screen top and bottom to do exactly that, whereas the iPhone simply lacks native split screen capability altogether. Plus, if you need to sign a digital document, the Galaxy S26 Ultra's built-in S Pen allows for perfectly neat, professional signatures, totally sparing you from that messy, kindergarten-style finger swiping you have to do on the iPhone. And this next part brilliantly illustrates a massive, game-changing cross-platform update. We've always thought of these ecosystems as walled gardens, right? Well, in this test, a heavy 3.5 gigabyte video file was selected on the Samsung. And using Samsung's QuickShare, it can now natively handshake with Apple's AirDrop. You literally just hit share, and the prompt pops up right on the iPhone screen via AirDrop. It successfully sent massive files across ecosystems in seconds. You guys, the walls are finally starting to come down. Okay, Section 3, AI and Social Media, Smarter Everyday Tasks. Moving right along, let's look at the fascinating split in how these phones handle our modern digital lives and leverage artificial intelligence. So the crucial point here is how intuitively you can find information about what's actually on your screen. In a test searching for a specific Aki power charger from a photo, both phones were super fast. But Samsung's Circle to Search is built directly into the operating system. You just hold a button, circle the item, and it gives you instant, rich AI summaries with links to buy. The iPhone requires a bit of a workaround. You have to take a screenshot, tap it, and push it through Google Lens. It works, sure, but it completely lacks that extra layer of intelligent AI context. Furthermore, Samsung's Galaxy AI really flexes its muscles in everyday photo editing and social media. When tasked with removing an unwanted piece of bell pepper from a photo of a meal, Samsung's Object Eraser completely vanished it, just a totally clean plate. Apple Intelligence, however, struggled, leaving this visible, kind of messy smudge where the pepper used to be. And when it came time to post, Galaxy AI automatically generated a bubbly #ready Instagram caption from a simple prompt. The iPhone required the user to manually type out their thoughts from scratch. Next up is Section 4, Cameras and Video, Capturing the Moment. This is always the most hotly debated topic of any smartphone rivalry, and it's where personal preference really comes into play. So, the big question, which phone captures the better portrait and video? Look, it's highly subjective. We all have different tastes in how we want to look in photos, right? But when you look closely at how these lenses process human skin tones and deal with harsh, direct sunlight, a very clear divide emerges between the two. Looking at the side-by-side results, Samsung tended to apply a bit of a beauty smoothing effect with a slight yellow tint in normal photos, while the iPhone preserved natural skin texture with a healthier reddish tint that a lot of people actually prefer. But switch over to portrait mode and Samsung dominated edge detection. It perfectly cut out individual strands of hair, whereas the iPhone noticeably blurred the edges of the subject's hair. Finally, in 4K video recording under harsh sunlight, the iPhone aggressively balanced the exposure to keep the subject's face bright and clear. The Samsung left dark, realistic, but arguably less flattering shadows on the face. All right, Section 5, Fast Charging Test Powering Up. After a long day of shooting 4K video, editing photos, and sharing gigabytes of files, your battery is going to drain. The real question is, who gets you out the door faster when your battery hits 0%? To test this, both completely dead phones were plugged into an Aukey 100-watt fast charger. The Samsung immediately triggers its super fast charge 3.0 protocol, rocketing up to a peak of 53 watts of power draw. The iPhone, maxing out its internal limits, peaks at only 38 watts. And that difference in wattage translates directly to your waiting time. The Samsung hits a full 100% charge in an incredible 59 minutes. Putting that side by side, Samsung goes from 0 to 100 in under an hour. The iPhone takes 1 hour and 28 minutes to reach that same full charge. That is nearly a full 30 minutes faster for the Samsung, securing a massive, undeniable win in battery recovery speed. I mean, when you're rushing for a flight or a meeting, those 30 minutes are an absolute game changer. Finally, Section 6, the verdict. Which fits you best? We've tallied the points across security, heavy productivity, AI smarts, camera aesthetics, and battery speed. But before we declare a winner, there's a final, vital nuance to consider. Sometimes it's the little, specific, everyday quirks that matter most to how you use a phone. Take the hugely popular messaging app, Line. iPhone users have this beloved native feature where they can long press a chat to sneakily raid messages without triggering a read receipt. To achieve the same sneaky read on a Samsung, you actually have to go out of your way to download a separate customization app called Good Lock just to view your notification history. It's a tiny detail, but for some users, that's an absolute deal breaker. Ultimately, as this deep dive brilliantly illustrates, it's not about who wins the speed test, it's about which ecosystem fits your natural habits. Choosing a phone isn't just about spec sheets, charging wattages, or camera megapixels anymore. It's about which interface, which set of tools, and which ecosystem aligns seamlessly with how you naturally want to use your device every single day. The iPhone consistently offers a smooth, reliable, beautifully simple experience with phenomenal video capabilities. Samsung, on the other hand, offers an absolute powerhouse of productivity, fast charging, and cutting-edge AI features right out of the box. So I leave you with this question. Based on these real-world tests, which side of the tech divide truly matches your daily rhythm? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep exploring.